Right. Shanghai won. Best team in everything except maybe Brawl won its shock. But Brawl hasn't been good this year. So, yeah, it's not going to be that. Well, it could be actually, no, saying that. I don't know what the meta will be for the playoffs. It could be anything, but I don't know. Shock are obviously number 2. They are second best at everything except Brawl, which they are best at. So these are sort of top 2 in every single meta. Philly is third because they're like third best in every meta, other than maybe Double Shield where Guangzhou can beat them. But I'm not convinced on that, so it might not be. I'm gonna put Paris in fourth. This might be recency bias, but they've been good for quite a while now, so I don't know. Maybe it's not recency bias, but I think they can be good. They've got quite a lot of versatility in the DPS line. Field is just a nut on support. An FT god if Lucio's meta will just grow rampage. The only worry I have for Paris is main tank, because Ben Best and No Smite, their hero pools don't gel very well. Because Ben Best plays the Ryan and the Orisa, and then No Smite plays the Winston. Though No Smite might play the Orisa as well, but don't quote me on that. No, Ben Best plays Orion and Rissa. Orion and Rissa. Ryan and Orisa. But then No Smite plays the Winston. So if they have to sub in a No Smite for whatever reason, it's quite pronounced what they're going to play dive. Unless he's learning Orisa or Reinhardt or something like that. Though I think Ben Best is just better on the Ryan. Fundamentally. So I don't see why you'd run. My point still stands. Next, I think it's close between the Charge and the Excelsior. I think this could go either way. I know that the Excelsior has recently beat the Charge. And especially if it's a different meta, I think Guangzhou particularly are double shield one tricks. So I think, because New York has a very versatile DPS line, their tanks can play nearly anything. If Roadhog's good, that plays into Hopper's hero pool, and Hopper's been looking shaky this year at best. Jonek's just a nut. So yeah, I'd put XL over the Charge just because it's a new meta. If it was double shield, I think Charge could even be above Paris. But I'm going to put them below New York for now. And we'll see where that goes. Next, I think it's between the Mayhem, the Valiant, the Rain, the Gladiators. I'd even potentially throw in Hangzhou and Seoul. So this is where it gets really touch and go. Because a lot of this is quite close. I would put Mayhem next. Though would I? Yeah, no, I would. Because I was thinking the double shield one trick, they've got a lot of wins over the bottom teams. But again, have you seen Valiant excel anything other than double shield? Have you seen Rain excel? You have seen, in fact that's where Gladiators have seen the most success. Though I'm basing this off of sort of where they are now going into playoffs. So I think the Glads could be there below the Mayhem. I think if Hog's good, that's going to come into Gargoyle, Pool. Though Hog may not be good because it's Overwatch League. Overwatch basically means anything can be good. I would put no, I wouldn't. But if they still had Baby Bay, I would put the Rain next. But they don't, so I'm not going to. Instead, I'm going to put Valiant next. Purely because I think Ash and Tracer particularly will become good now that Genji's gone. I think Tracer will supplement Ash in most scenarios. Hello, broskies. Hello. No, Valiant is better than Glads. Is it though? It's particularly in the playoffs meta. Are they better? Because I could see maybe if it's like Tracer Ash, Tracer Widow, something like that, you could put BQB on the Tracer and the Ash. And then you could put Shax on the Tracer. Glad's easy. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. If it's got to be specific for Valiant to be better. But it could be Gladiators. It's good if Glads I think particularly because Double Shield's gone and that's where they were weak. They're good at the sort of dive comps. And like anything that's not Double Shield really they looked a lot better on. So I think they're better in Valiant going into playoffs, I honestly do. Next, I think Hangzhou go at the bottom of these three. I think they just do. They've been so shaky this year they could go any which way. And they did get to the finals of the Countdown Cup, but they played like Seoul and Chengdu. So it wasn't exactly an achievement. And then they got rolled in the finals anyway by Shanghai. So I think I'd put them below both of these. Well, that's Boston. No, Boston not that high. I have no idea what that means. I think I'd put Atlanta next just because I think outside of Double Shield they'll do. But no, would I? It's close between these two. It's very close. I'm going to put Soulhead purely because I think they have a higher peak. They have a higher peak than Atlanta. And they, particularly that's when peaks come out in the playoffs, like you saw in the main melee, they got to the finals and it was close. So I think they could do well. My chat is being spammed. Oh yeah, because you're a Soul Dynasty fan. Yeah, I forgot about that. Oh, jeez. And then Atlanta, I think above Spark. Spark have just looked really shaky. They haven't looked they've looked better than most of these. In fact, I would argue maybe you could put them below Dallas Outlaws. No, they beat Chengdu recently though, so I wouldn't put them below Chengdu actually. I think they fit there. It's just like they're not better than Seoul or Atlanta when they're playing at their best, but I think they're consistently better than like the trash tier, and they're in a harder region, so I'd put them ahead of Dallas and Houston. Speaking of which, the next spots I think are between Houston, Dallas, sort of. You could put Chengdu, Toronto in there. Though I think Toronto no, I don't think Toronto are actually that good now that Genji's gone. I think Outlaws have been underrated this season. That might just be me. And to be fair, when the pressure builds, I think Outlaws do potentially have a better. But no, just me that thinks. Just me that thinks that Houston have been underrated this year. I'm gonna put them above these two because I think they can do quite well, even if they do struggle when pressure's mounting. Map 5. I think in this meta, Chengdu could be underrated as well. Particularly, it's like Hog, there's no main tank, so Ball could be back in, which plays into Armang. You can put the Winston in. You can Put the Winston in, yeah, that makes sense. They've been putting Elsa on the Winston, so I think if Winston's meta, which some sources have said that he is, it could be good for them. My chat is being spammed with emotes. So I think in this meta I would put Chengdu above Dallas, and also Dallas have recently been on the downhill. So I think Jesus Christ, what on earth is that? Do I even want to know? But yeah, I think Dallas have been on the down. They're not like trash tier down, but they're down. And obviously, like, these are the bottom tier. I would put. I'm torn between Toronto and London at the top of the trash tier. I think Boston have got to go at the bottom. Washington with Decay have got to be above Vancouver, surely. I think that could be alright. I would maybe debate London and Toronto. Though in playoff potential, when Agilities and Surefour and Logics brings their A game, I think you could put Toronto over London. If my chat decides to be sensible and not spam emotes of Doritos, is there anything you would like to appeal? But Toronto and LS are mid-tier. Toronto and London Spitfire. Are they better than any of the teams above them, though? I don't think they are. Like, Dallas, they've been looking pretty okay, actually. Like, they've been looking better than Toronto, particularly without Agilities on the Genji, which is very unlikely now. Dallas, better than Chengdu and Houston. But this is like a playoffs prediction. It's like a postseason playoffs prediction sort of thing. So, and particularly in the scrappy meta, I think Chengdu will be better, unless it turns into some sort of brawl thing, which I do still think it could be. And even then, it's hardly like London have hardly been the most coordinated team. I think if it's brawl, Toronto could move up above these two potentially. If it's brawl, and you can put Agilities on one of his good heroes, which is really just Genji. But if you can put him on a good hero like the Junkrat or something like that in the close quarters maps, I think he could be good. But I'm gonna leave them here because it could be. And Chengdu obviously is a scrappy meta. I think they're gonna get away with some hog and ball torture. Outlaws, I think, could potentially go under Chengdu. Actually, the more than I think about it, Houston could go under Chengdu. Yeah, I do think they could be under Chengdu. In fact, I'm going to put them under Chengdu. I'm unsure on Florida, actually, because I think Florida could go higher. My chat is being emote spammed. That's fun. I'm actually considering, now they have Decay, putting Washington like here. I'm considering it because Dallas, let's think about it, have not the best team. Dallas don't have the best team, so eh. But they got carried by Decay. So I think if Decay has a really good day in the playoffs, they could be. They could be. I think that's wishful, but put NYXL below LA Glads. You what? NYXL worse than Guangzhou, worse than Florida, and worse than Glads. Where's your logic behind that? I could understand maybe Guangzhou, because consistently this season Guangzhou have been the second best in APAC. But no, seriously, how do you come to that conclusion? Because Florida have gotten a lot of wins over like your Washington, your Titans, your Uprising, your Defiant. I think they have like 2 or 3 wins over like. I think there's one over like Atlanta, one over like Valiant, and there's like one other one. So I don't think you put them up a Florida. In fact, I'm tempted to do that to start with. Maybe you found that's useful. Well, until you come back, I'm putting Excelsior up there. I considered that, but they're like double shield one tricks. They're like double shield one tricks, so I'd like. And now double shield's dead, I'd put Excel above. I'm not entirely sure double shield will be dead, but that's just me. I think Excelsior could be the 5th best team, and I think they could. If they don't, Lunatic it's not even Lunatic High, is it? It's LW Blue. LW, I should know that. LW blew it, and they don't start whiffing in the playoffs. I think they could be above Paris. Seriously though. Particularly if Genji's not very good. If it's sort of a dive sort of meta, you've got to put no smite in, and then you can just sort of put Hopper on the road, Bianca on the Roadhog. I think New York could be better than Paris. In all seriousness, I don't know who wants to put them here. I don't understand putting them here. I'd put them at lowest there. I wouldn't put them below Glads. I'm glad to see we've got some intelligent conversation going on there. Jack Currency says Bible Trump, which is fascinating. I'm not going to. I'm tempted to put Chengdu there, but I'm not going to purely on the basis of the fact that in the Summer Showdown, Spark beat Chengdu. Though they beat Seoul, so I think Seoul has a high peak. I think Seoul can go far. Boston can just be down there. Vancouver can sort of go with them. I think these two are like set in stone. These two are set in stone. They're last. Boston number 1. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Save. Yeah, no. Washington, I think, have upset potential. If Decay can carry a game, particularly against someone like London, that they won't play London, will they? Unless they both get to the final somehow, which is absurd to think. But I think Washington, if they faced London, I think you could put Washington there realistically. I think you could realistically put them there. Because granted, the team surrounding them is in some ways better, because you've got players like Janu. I'm about to say Crib, but Crib's on Toronto, isn't he? So I think you could put Justice there. They've got Arc as well. They've got Aim God. I think Washington. I'm going to put Washington there. Just because they have upset potential, particularly with Decay, and now Decay's had time to gel into the roster. Excuse me. I do think that Washington above Dallas. I think Dallas is core is better. There's upset potential for sure, but they lost Decay. Yeah, but they've had lost Decay for a while now. They haven't played him for a while. Though I suppose they've lost coaching stuff, and that is important in playoffs. So, it feels wrong to put Dallas that low, though. That feels wrong. They've had a season, and they've still got like Doha. And if Doha can carry, particularly if Sombra's strong, which she likely will, because it's Overwatch League, I think Dallas have a chance. London, if Sombra's strong, London just no. London have looked with Sombra this year. Any other suggestions? I don't see overly a problem with that. Yeah, I can't see a problem with that overly. Soulclap Valiant. That depends on. I think if Sombra is better than Tracer, you can put them there, yeah. And seriously though, if Soul get their act together, which they have done, they've got 2U, you make a good point, so they're much more consistent with their lineup now. And they have been rotating Marvel and Jester around main tank and not just wherever the hell they want. Subbing Michelle and subbing Creative, yes. Casually. As long as they don't start doing that, then I think they could be there. But that is dependent. As soon as if Tracer is better than Sombra, or if Tracer is played at all, Valiant probably go up to like maybe even there. You think that's a good spot for Soul? I'm tempted to put Florida down. No, Florida was maybe fine. No, but that was ages ago. I've just realised Glad's I put as the 4th best in NA. And that doesn't seem right, but I suppose that's a dead centre. Who? Sol? Or Valiant? Because there's 20 teams, so that's like the middle. Florida Noob. Like, I think it's too close between these two. These two, it just depends on the meta. They're saying that Florida have only really been good at double shield. Florida, you think Florida stay where they are? They got Fate, Gargoyle. The problem is how many of the would you pick Florida to beat Seoul? I'd pick Florida to beat Seoul. No, I think actually Seoul could beat Florida if they faced off tomorrow. Though I think it all depends on the meta. No, I'm gonna put Florida down. I'm gonna put Florida down mainly because they've been only really good at double shield. They've taken a lot of wins off your Vancouvers, your Bostons, your Torontos, your Washingtons. That still feels it feels wrong to do that, but okay. I'm gonna leave them there. You'd move Houston down, but then that's Houston below London. You think Toronto, if they played tomorrow, would beat Houston? Eh? How'd you work that out? Everyone's saying below Spitfire for London. For Houston, sorry. And that feels wrong. I think if we're being harsh, Washington have to come like back down. Trust to fight and have God heals. They've got Kariv and someone else. Cruz. Kariv and Cruz, which could be quite good actually. That's a fair point. Houston are bad. I'd put them above London. I wouldn't put them below Spitfire. Because they can put Muma back in now if Arisha's gone and they have no magic without Jake. True. Though Dante has been keeping them together, and if it's a Sombra meta, which again I think it will be, make my stream lower quality so I can watch it without lagging. No, I can't because that will mess up with settings and that I can't be able to restart this again because I'm putting this on YouTube. So yeah, I'd put Houston there. Muma is so. That's true. It depends. There's so much of this depends on the meta. If it's brawl, it's like shot goes up. XL doesn't go up. Glads go to like there. He's Barbo. I don't know what Barbo. Like Muma is so bad like Barbo. Who is Barbo? Just like Muma is bad like Barbo. Okay, thanks for that. That was useful. Oh, Garbo. Oh. I think hydration's actually been quite good. I can't make my stream lower quality. No. Deal with it. As long as you can see it, it's fine. Why NYXL over Charge? Because I think Charge have only really been properly good at double shield. I think XL have been better when it comes to like dive. We haven't seen much brawl this year actually, but But I think it could potentially come back for the playoffs, in which case I don't actually know who would be better. Do I have to stop it to blow my bit? Okay, I'm gonna try this. Sorry, YouTube. I might edit this out. Where do I even change it? Do I have to change it to... Oh, this is too much effort. I don't know how you change it. I don't know how you change it. As long as you can see this, it's fine. Or go watch it with your brother. I'll give you mod afterwards. Linkser. What about Linkser? I think, yeah, Linkser could be good as well. If it's like Sombra Widow, Sombra Ash, Linkser, yeah. Particularly Sombra Widow. Don't want that. I think this is reasonable. Any further? Any further iterations of this you want to put forward? If you tell me how to, I will lower it. Thanks, Goldbar. Toronto above DF. Dallas, really? How? If you tell me how to make it low quality, I will. But until you do, I can't. Oh, for God's sake. I can just mute you in chat. Dallas, but I think Dallas are better than Toronto. Because Agilities has been taken off Genji, most likely. They still could run that, actually. I think if Toronto was smart... If Toronto are smart, they will play agilities on the Genji anyway. If Toronto are smart, they'll play agilities on the Genji anyway, and I think in that scenario they could be better than Dallas. But then again, I think if Dallas and Toronto faced off, I think Dallas would win. I'm sorry, but I am going to have to meet you in chat for like a bit if you don't. Or I could just find out how to lower it. It would be on OBS, wouldn't it? I'll probably edit this out on YouTube so nobody will see this. General. There's no search through settings, so it's annoying. Stream. Video bitrate. I'll put it down to 5K. I can't put it on, I can. Apply. There we go. It's lowered bitrate. Right, okay. Where were we? Right. Any further iterations? I've denied Toronto above Dallas because I think if they played, no, they're saying that actually. In terms of playoffs, I know I'm going to put Toronto in front, mainly because they've lost a lot of coaching staff, Dallas, which would have really helped them during playoffs. London Spitfire will deny my face. Where do you think I should put London Spitfire? Reasonably, where do you think I should put London? Do not say that, because I will just time you out. What do we... Yeah, they were there. Above Houston. If Houston are London, though... If Houston played London, do you really think London could beat them? Like, they got beaten by Seoul 3 times. And 2 of those weren't convincing. Or weren't close, should I say. I do think that I think that Houston are better. I can see why you'd say that. Also, Toronto above Chengdu. But in a messy... I'm going to let that slide. Houston, no, get rid. Okay, Houston not there anymore. No Houston, they're in the Chengdu zone. Dallas above Chengdu, really? Of Toronto even? But I think Chengdu in a scrappy meta could be quite good. So I don't think that they would be below Toronto, because Toronto I think got overrated when they got a bonus win from, what was it, the Summer Showdown? Yeah, it was Summer Showdown. But didn't they beat like Washington and Houston or something? They beat some garbage teams. Get rid of Toronto. I think Toronto might be a little bit too high. Yeah, but Agilities can shut down on what, though? Like, if they play him on Genji, he's fundamentally not that good. And it's likely that they'll place... that they might not play Sombra, they're Chengdu, but... Yeah, but Genji got nerfed. Gohar good, Agility's bad. I'm confident, but I'm not that confident putting them above Dallas, actually, but... I'm going to leave them there. I'm toying with that, though, still. Yeah, I'm still toying with it. I don't... And because I nearly didn't put them above Dallas... Above Chengdu? And bear in mind, Chengdu have been scrimming against the same 6 teams all year. And Chengdu being Chengdu, if they pull something out weird out. They could beat Gladiators, Mayhem, Valiant. They could be. Oh, that's Toronto. Chengdu could be up here somewhere. So he can pick off split enemies. Yeah, but that's... You're not thinking messy there. You're just thinking quick play. Because Chengdu are a good team fundamentally. Yes, I know Doha's good and Agility's bad. You've made your point. Chengdu low-key good. Yeah, I wouldn't put Toronto above Defiant. Chengdu, yeah. Anything else? I'm even slightly considering Spark higher, just because they will have looked worse because they're in a worse region. I'm tempting putting Spark, like, above Atlanta. No, yeah? What are your thoughts? Spark above Atlanta. Okay, apparently everybody's left my chat, so... I wouldn't put Toronto above... You know what I mean? I wouldn't put Toronto above Chengdu. I wouldn't put Toronto above Chengdu. Okay, yeah, very funny. I'd put Spark above maybe Valiant and then move Atlanta up. I think with Valiant it depends on the meta. But Atlanta. 3-2 Shock. Yeah, but Shock had nothing to play for. Did they really care? Dallas above Toronto. This is what are their like standings this year? No, I clicked schedule. I clicked schedule. It's going to take an age to load. Dallas above Toronto Riot. Seoul better than Gladiators. No. I wouldn't put Seoul above Gladiators. Atlanta have potential, but it feels like bad. Well, yeah, of course it does. They haven't played Erster all year. They played Erster on Anubis and on May. And I'm like, eh. So, like, Gladiators are 9th, actually. I thought they'd done worse than that. So, where are we? Dallas are above Toronto. By how much? 1 game. Though Toronto have had 14 losses to Dallas. Dallas have only played 20 games. That can't be right. Who did they play against this week? I don't know. Based on that, I would put Dallas over Toronto. Atlanta have potential because of bad coaching. You put Seoul above Glads. Seoul have much more potential than Glads. No, I'm going to disagree with you there. Atlanta could mega evolve, but it's a small chance. I'd agree with that. They will most likely be. That's their most likely position. If they get everything right and somehow come out like everybody was thinking they would come out at the start of the season, I don't put them any better. I don't put them in any scenario getting to the finals or grand finals. In any scenario, I don't put them there. Atlanta aligned themselves. It's safe to be Dallas Toronto. Yeah, Dallas Toronto. I think, yeah, the more I think about it, Dallas Toronto. You like Toronto to fight. Yeah, but it's not about who you like, it's about who will do well. You think Fuel tied with Chengdu? No. The only reason I've got Chengdu that high is because it's a new meta and no one knows what to play. If it's dive, Chengdu will run something. They will run hog against you. I guarantee it. They have spirit. Toronto have spirit. Jesus Christ. I'm not putting Toronto up because they have spirit. Glads are actually good. Yeah, Glads are actually good, yeah. I was toying with Glads above both of those APAC teams, sorry. But then if you put Glads that high, they've had such an inconsistent season, they could easily be... They could lose now. They won't lose to Boston, because Boston won't get that far, but... If Glads get a bad read on the meta, that's... yeah. If any of these teams could get a bad read on that, if Philly get a bad read in the meta, Paris... I think these two get through either way. But I think if Philly or Paris get a bad view on the meta suddenly, you've got New York, you've got Guangzhou, you've got Glads breathing down the neck. If Seoul are on a good streak, they can have Seoul breathing down the neck. Seoul are on a 3-game winning streak, albeit all of them are against London, but... Well, no, didn't they lose to Chengdu or Hangzhou or something? What are Seoul's current... whatever, yeah. It doesn't show me. That's very useful. Played matches, there we go. Yeah, so they beat London. They beat New York, but I think that was an upset. They beat London, they lost to Hangzhou, they beat London. Glad's good. It's not bad. Glad trash. Glad's good. Glad's not good. Philly better than Shock? Hell nah. Really? You think Shock and Philly are closer than I'm saying? Really? But especially in play, look at last year's playoffs. They lose to Atlanta. They go to the losers bracket. They absolutely roll everybody, including the Vancouver Titans, who were the best team for half of last year. For the first half of last year, Vancouver Titans were considered the best team. I think there's a larger chance people think Shock lose before finals. No, I disagree. It's a smaller chance than people think. Because when Shock get to the playoffs, they absolutely go on a roll. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this stream here, and I'll be back very shortly. For the YouTube video, this will be the end. Or there might be another one shortly. But I'm going to start streaming again in a minute, and I'm going to do my brackets. Stay tuned.